men are always going to gain so much more from their relationships with women than women are going to gain from their relationships with men. And you can argue, oh, like, what if he does this for you, or he's handy, or, you can hire someone. Like, there's just the mental energy that women give to men. It's.
Shorty said that men gain more from being friends with women than women gain from being friends with men. And then she said, he gave the example of, like, what if he's handy? What if he helps you with this, that, and third, da, 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 da. She said because women give more mental power, more mental energy in being friends with men. I'm sorry. Have you ever been friends with a woman before? A woman will come to you about her problems, right? And then you'll give her a solution to said problem, right? She won't listen to the solution, but she'll still complain about it. She will always be in a crisis, but never do anything to solve said crisis. You don't think that's mentally taxing? Mind you, this isn't even just a perspective of a man being friends with a woman. I've heard women who are friends with women say this as well. What mental toll does it take on you to be friends with a man? Because men, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. A man might come to you because you're a woman and vent to you more than he would his male friends. But even in that, he's still looking for a solution, right? Your female friends are going to vent to you and not look for a solution. What have I gained from women being my friends? Not saying that, like, me being friends with men, I've gained so much. I'm just saying, like, what have I gained from being friends with women? Honestly, the only people I've ever fallen off with on a friendship basis is women. Like, those are like, I think I've fallen off with one dude who was a friend of mine, one guy in my whole life, one guy. Like, we had an actual falling out. But with women, there's always a falling out. Women rarely have best friends that last longer than 5 years. That's why when you ask a man, who's your best friend and when did you meet him, they'll say something like kindergarten, middle school. You ask a woman, hey, who's your best friend? Oh, I met her in college. How old are you? I'm 24. So, like, last year? Yeah, I'll just be saying nonsense, bro.
In a couple of days, it is going to be June.
Well, it's June the 12th now. I'm so slow. 13th. It's June the 13th.
Which means that the men are going to come out of the woodworks and talk about their mental health for Men's Mental Health Month.
Literally what Men's Mental Health Month was designed to do. But let's act surprised by it.
And then demand that you as a woman give a about it.
Hey there, you, that thing about you, I want to make it about me. Nobody's demanding anything, especially to this lady who made this video prior to Men's Mental Health Month. She really wanted to hammer home how much she really didn't give a shit about you fellas. Which is weird, considering the majority of men and women on this planet actually do care about their male friends and family and their mental health. Like men do the same in reverse, but you know.
I'll keep in mind that these men who are going to be posting about men's mental health have done absolutely zero advocacy work for women over the past year.
Kind of find it a little bit ironic that this creator thinks that advocacy is transactional, because I don't remember the last time she said anything positive about men. You see, what you can do is you can talk about things on the internet that's close to you and not talk about other things, but still care about the other things that you don't talk about. See how that works? It's interesting, isn't it? A lot of people don't seem to realise this. And some people need to just get off the internet, go outside, touch grass, and meet real people.
Let me also add that the biggest victims of men's mental health struggles are going to be the women and children around them.
Statistically inaccurate, but, you know, not completely false. But what you have done is actually told your lady followers a very good reason why we should care about men's mental health. Good job.
The only person responsible for the management of your mental health struggles is you.
Kind of agree, but, you know, a bit of an empathetic support network around you would be really helpful. But this next bit...
I also want to remind you that women are not responsible for why men cannot talk about their mental health struggles.
And yet the reason why many of us don't is because we've heard stuff like...
The only person responsible for the management of your mental health struggles is you. Do I have to care about random men on the internet's mental health? No.
I agree.
But you do have the space to speak about that.
And it clearly doesn't bother her.
But you guys chose to listen to Andrew Tate and fall down the red pill pipeline.
Oh, get off the internet, because you're behaving exactly like Andrew Tate. Ladies, men don't care about you. You should hate them all. Andrew Tate now, ready? Fellas, women don't care about you. You should... Go outside. Make some friends.
Now you think that going on a walk will fix your schizophrenia.
Going on a walk will help your mental health. It won't fix a psychological disorder. I don't know what she's trying to get at.
When men on a mass scale start advocating for women's issues and start caring about liberating women, maybe then women will give up about your mental health issues, but that is not going to be this June.
There's many experiences that men go through that women don't understand and vice versa. The trick is to teach each other and learn and be empathetic as opposed to being transactional or competitive about it, which is exactly what we're watching right now.
You guys have not put in the work to deserve the sympathy and empathy from women.
Imagine if I come onto this app and I said, I know you went through something traumatic, but you've not earned my empathy.
And the work from women to advocate for your struggles.
You don't have to advocate for people's struggles to care. You can even challenge people's opinions about things and still care. Imagine that. You can still care, regardless. Mad.
I hate men. I've heard this from women my entire life. It's so common these days to hear women say, all men are blank. Men ain't. And grouping them together and casting a judgment on the entire sex. And I've just never felt that way. In circles of women, they would often say, well, you probably don't feel this way towards men because you haven't experienced blank, insert the plethora of traumatic instances that can happen with men. And when I would share my stories that I often had, they would be like, well, you have all the reason to hate men. Why don't you? Women's resentment towards men is not entirely misplaced, obviously. Look around at the world, abroad, and in our own local communities. When I think of the main reasons why women feel such hatred towards men, I just don't see a world where we correct those issues without men. Often the force required to correct the ferocity of evil-filled men is the ferocity of good-filled men. Obviously, women too. Men in their grounded, higher state are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, quick story time. I was a teenager walking into a store with my little brother, and to my right, a car pulls up full of men, waving at me, trying to coerce me to get into the car and kidnap me. I moved my brother to the side, and as I did, this old cowboy was walking out of the store towards us, saw everything that was happening, and he puts his hand on his back pocket to reach for his gun, and the car saw what he was doing and immediately drove off. And I'll never forget this moment because it was this crazy juxtaposing scene of men in their absolute unhinged nature, and then men in their beautiful protector, higher nature for someone he didn't even know. And it really did show how men can be a part of the solution to the problems they also create. I don't know if you know, but men account for 80% of the suicides in the United States. And I encourage you to listen to this incredible podcast. I have it up right here. It's called Young Men Are Quietly Giving Up. And this really alarms me as we're moving into a time where we really, really need strong men. Many women have absolutely no freedoms in different corners of the earth. And I'm just going to speak to the modern Western world for a second. In women's attempts and pursuit for male accountability, I feel like it has hardened so many women's outlook of men altogether. And you got a modern dynamic now where women are walking around incredibly jaded, and they project this energy onto men in their entirety, and then feel a lot of resistance to having accountability themselves. Like a collective grievance that turned into an absolving of looking into the mirror. We can so often become the archetype of the thing we protest. I believe reestablishing a sense of sacredness between the sexes is going to be a big part of the solution here. And both sexes have a lot of work to do here. Objectification is such a big part of this to men. And I hope we can continue to hold men accountable while also as women taking ownership of the parts that we should. Like when we electively objectify ourselves and further feed into that energy that in the end doesn't serve us, and be a bit honest with that. I'm curious if you've had a journey with your relationship to men and how you see us all walking forward unified together.
Who is most domestically towards women?
Surprisingly, it's actually women.
It's not.
Yeah, no, actually, no. So check this out. The highest actually occurs a lot of the times between same individuals who are women. And then the other thing also that's interesting is, because they did a whole meta-analysis on this, what they found was when there's only going one way, where one partner is beating on the other, is typically women to men. They're beating on the man. But the majority, obviously, are of like, they beat on each other. So it's two-way. But when it's only one party attacking another, it's the woman to the man most of the time. So, I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have where, people think that, oh, men are just beating up on women or whatever. It happens, but I don't think it's as prevalent as people try to say. Mm. And, this is like feminist propaganda to push certain things out and get certain legislation going or whatever. But the reality is that it's really the women that tend to be more with with that stuff because women don't have a proper concept of. I'll explain this, right? So the thing with men, right, is when men deal with each other, there's already inherent respect to a degree because we understand that we're capable of each other, right? Because we have the physicality to do so. Women don't understand this that much, right? This is why, like earlier, I'll give you an example. When I was out doing the thing, the people that were heckling me the most were women, right? And the reason why they did that is because women don't understand the concept of and consequences, repercussions for talking, because women don't get punched in the face by men, luckily, right? But men do. So if you say the wrong thing to a guy, you know that there might be a physical confrontation that can end your life. Women don't understand this concept for a multitude of different reasons because, you know, obviously we live in a civilized world. Men don't really attack women like that, which is good. Women, when they do fight with each other, they're weak, so who cares? So in general, women don't have a proper concept. So this is why they tend to be more because they don't understand the consequences and ramifications of it.
I thought the clip where the lady was talking about, you know, from both sides, you know, men have work to do and then women also have work to do. I thought that was a pretty fair assessment, right? You know, kind of going back to another clip where a woman was talking about and the guy was responding to it. It's like, well, you know, the reason that men are in this predicament is because of themselves. You need to take responsibility for your own mental health. It's solely on you, and I'm not going to help you because you didn't help me. When really that's not true. Men have helped you. It just might not be them helping you in the way that you want to be helped. And it goes beyond a man saying, well, you know, like say, can you come to this rally and speak out for us? There's a lot of men that do that. All men might not do that, but there might be some men, like she was saying, that will step up and say, hey, y'all are doing some weird stuff. Don't you put your hands on her. And that's protection. But modern women, they're so one track focused that they'll say, well, you still didn't speak up for us, even though the man literally just protected you. Well, yeah, you helped me, but you didn't help me. You didn't help me in the way I wanted to be helped. And this is what has a lot of men jaded, is because I have to, in order to prove myself to you, and the same thing happens in relationships, in order to prove myself worthy of your blessing, I have to jump through all of these hoops. So maybe, just maybe, you'll say, you're worthy now. You can be a part of us. And I'll never be on your level, but you're worthy to be around me. You're worthy to speak on my behalf, should it come to that. But you'll never be me. And when you hear that sort of stuff, when you listen to women talk, a lot of these modern women talk about you in that way, there's no reason that a man would want to. And you're seeing a lot of men once again check out, step away, opt out of not only dating, but conversing with a lot of these silly women, because it's stupidity. There's no way you're going to continue to put me down and think that I'm going to be okay with it.
I'm in the gym and you're a man and you see me doing the exercise wrong, do not take the opportunity to walk up to me and tell me the correct way to do it. I was in the gym the other day and I was doing lat pull downs. Had my headphones on. I was in the zone. I was going. All I know is a man, I see him in my peripheral and he's over there like, hey, like doing something. So I slide my headphone off and he's like, hey, you want to pull it right here because you could hurt your rotator cuff. I said, okay. How you know I don't like my rotator cuff a little hurt? Like, I don't like no man telling me nothing. Don't. And then now I'm working out in the gym and I'm like, damn, are you watching every exercise that I do to make sure I'm doing it right? Leave me alone. Don't tell me nothing.
Like, don't tell me nothing. Yep. I'm gonna tell you right now. Me personally, I go to the gym. So I love gym bros and I love gym women. And I love people to say, hey, you know what? Like, either you're doing a good job or ready to help you. It's so crazy how there's so many people that are nervous to go to the gym. I don't see why. There are so many great people at the gym. And I've even had people stop me before to like, show me something. I'm never going to go, get off my back. Because if it's going to hurt me in the long run, I don't want that. I don't think you've ever been hurt at the gym before. If you ego lift or you lift the wrong way and you pinch a nerve or you hurt yourself, you're going to be out for a long time and wish somebody would have helped you. You know what's so sad about women like this? These are the same women that and complain about guys bothering them when men are just trying to help, because that's what men are supposed to do. Imagine now if the place got raided up, shot up and all that stuff. You guys are going to be the same women. How come there's not men to help us? There's no men defending us. You see what I mean? That's why I tell you ladies all the time. My favorite saying, I always say, what? Pick and choose your battles. Shut the heck up. Please. The more and more you complain, the more and more you're going to push good men away to not want to help you. That is so sad, somebody going out of their way to help you. I don't see what's wrong with that. I would prefer somebody going out of their way to help me than somebody trying to get at me at the gym. Not that it would matter. I wouldn't never yell at somebody or even make a video. It's not that serious. But now when you go and break your shoulder or go and hurt yourself, I don't want to hear, nobody help me. What happened? Where the man at? Why? You don't need a man. You're strong and independent and buff and all that stuff. Do it yourself. This is why people do not tell black women anything. You guys never want to be told a thing, even if it's something sweet, even if it's nice. The man hating thing is so forced, it's getting really old. Like really, really old. At this point, snap your shoulder. I wouldn't give a damn. I don't even know why men even bother anymore with some of you guys. It's sad. Don't sit here and say, how come men don't protect? How come men don't this? Didn't he try to do that? He tried to make sure you didn't hurt yourself, and look what they get still. Man.
Can we have a serious conversation about the LBHs, passport bros, like whatever you want to call them? I just don't understand how the most basic level men can leave America, travel to these other countries, and just pull absolute tens, like the hottest girls that you will ever see. And these men, like men that we wouldn't even look twice at, are just pulling them and convincing them to date them. Like, I truly don't understand it. Can someone please explain to me how this is happening and how these men are able to get away with it? Also, like, how can we stop this? It's out of control, and it's getting to a point where it needs to be stopped.
When a passport bro tells me that I'm jealous that American men are leaving the United States and not looking at American women, because the ones that are leaving the United States to go find themselves a bride overseas are exactly the ones that we never wanted. I mean,
how many countries have you been to? Because everywhere I go, men like me. All across this country.
Completely. The level of delusion that these passport bros have to live in to make this arrangement seem like it's based on something genuine and love-filled would be tragic if it weren't so exploitative. Because as a passport bro, you are on borrowed time, right?
Comments from the British and American women mainly, okay, stating that it's so sad how, like, I had to go to South America in order to get laid and get a girlfriend. So, of course, they're trying to insult me. And to be honest, guys, it's actually just an insult to yourself, okay? You couldn't keep your own men, okay, from England or from America. I'm not even from England. I'm originally from Poland, okay? And there's plenty of beautiful women there, trust me. So your own men are deciding to leave the country. Why is that? Well, women in the West are super masculine. Nobody wants to deal with that. So, what do guys do? They go over to Eastern Europe, they go over to South America, they go over to Southeast Asia.
We are, as a generation of women, let me tell you what, oh my God.
Just another day in the office. Viewer discretion is advised.
So I am on the freeway, right? My freaking tire, my tire light comes on. I pull over at the gas station. My tire wall is busted out, right? I'm at a gas station. There's multiple men in work trucks. And I literally was like, can someone please help me change my tire? Like, I will pay you. All of them said no. All of them said no.
For whatever reason, every time one of y'all make a video like this, there's always multiple men just standing around doing nothing. I just find that a little ironic, but I digress. Sweetheart, they don't have to change your tire for you. That is not mandatory. It's not an obligation. It is not a law. They can exercise to not change your tire.
This one man was like, do you need to jump off? I can do that. But you can't change a tire?
You know, contrary to popular belief, changing a tire could actually be difficult if you don't know what you're doing. You can really get hurt changing a tire if you just out there experimenting. So I'm not sure if those men know how to change a tire or not, but the fact still remains they don't have to do that. Your entitlement is the reason this is so difficult for you to digest. And if we're being quite frank, why didn't you change your tire? It is your car. You are the one with the situation. Why didn't you use your resources to get that tire fixed?
I'm the most independent person, and this is probably the one thing that I've never had to do, because I grew up in a family of men.
You're such an independent person, but this is the one thing that you've never had to do because you grew up in a family of men. Why didn't you just call one of the men in your family to come and help you with this situation? Why didn't the men in your family make sure that you had AAA? Why didn't the men in your family teach you how to change a tire just in case no one is around and you had a situation like the one you have now? It seems to me you did yourself a disservice because if you're so independent, this is one thing that independent people should know how to do.
So, here's my life right now. I'm stressed. My boyfriend's on his way, but I was trying to get somebody who could do it quick because we live in LA and traffic is up. And I was crying. Like, I'm just a girl. What the?
Ah, those fatal words. I'm just a girl. In other words, I am incompetent and people need to do things for me because I am just a girl. But in the same breath say that you are so independent. This is not making any sense. You wanted a service done by random men. They did not want to perform said service because you are a random person at a gas station. Let alone something goes wrong, they will be held responsible. Not to mention, it's not that you don't have an outlet. You're just not willing to wait for the outlet. So you expect or assume that the world around you has some sort of obligation because they are men to help you in the nicest way possible. Sweetheart, men don't owe you. They don't have to do any of these things. Call the men in your family. Call the boyfriend that you say you have. These are the people that owe you that. Those random men do not.
I mean, one man was literally, his truck business said mechanic on it. He was like, no, I can't.
Yeah, on second thought, I don't believe that story. What I believe happened is she did get a flat tire. She pulled into a gas station. There was one man that probably did not know how to change a tire or wasn't equipped to do so. He told her no, even though she offered to pay him. And she knew that wasn't enough to get on here and make a video about it for people to rally behind her. So she had to add a little more flair to it. But my stance is exactly the same. Those men or that man does not owe you anything. Call the men in your family. Call AAA. Call your boyfriend. These are the people that will owe you something. And AAA in particular, you would have to pay them. But you know, I know she's not going to listen to me because I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, keep the change.
A lot of women today have forgotten their place.
And we live in this inverted world and I feel we got stuck in this whole feminism thing. Feminism is a scam. And now it's like trying to undo. It is. Feminism. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we are equal in value, but we are not equal in traits. We are different. Men and women are different.
I agree with that.
And I'm so sick and tired of why are we fighting to be something that we're not? I am not a man. I will never be a man. And for those of you that make that decision, I love that for you. Period. But there are certain things that are just, y'all are stronger than we are. We are more detail oriented than you are. There are certain traits that we naturally got from God based on the gender that we are. And it's all based on survival.
Yeah, that's why
it's all based on human nature. And so I feel like a lot of women, not all women, but most women have forgotten their place.
Within themselves,
within the order of family, within the order, even like with God, you know, if you just want to start blanketing statements like, now this is the thing. If you are a masculine woman, that's fine, but stop acting like you're feminine. If you want to be a boss babe, I don't need no man. You go do you, boo, but stop teaching that that's the answer because I'm sick and tired of this divide of the family. I'm sick and tired of now good men, like, and I'm listening to like stories, right? Good men are getting lazy in dating. They're getting lazy in the pursuit because women are making either everything too easy or they're too hands off. So now what's the point in even trying to date a woman when you're the man that you want me to be?
Yeah, like what's the point? You're wasting your time because it's never going to work. It's never going to work. Like, stop telling me what to do. It's like, you keep that to yourself. If you don't want a man, okay, that's fine. But don't get mad at me for wanting one. Don't be mad at me for actually caring about one, you know?
I mean, it seems like modern women don't really understand, once again, how people actually work. How are these passport bros going to different countries looking like they're pulling absolute 9s and 10s and stuff like that? Well, I mean, because these women are actual people. That's probably the simplest way that I can put it. They're actual people. I know you guys probably don't believe that, but they look at a man not for the things that he can necessarily give them, maybe not in terms of being a gold digger. But they say, oh, he's able to take care of me. I want children. He wants children. We want a family. He's cute. Maybe not the best looking guy, but he's cute. He's stable. And they look at the totality of a man. Whereas y'all stop looking at the man after he said, well, I make $100K a year. Only $100K a year? Man, that's not going to cut it. I'm looking for a man that make at least $250. So that's how these quote unquote mid men can go overseas and pull a 9 or a 10, because the 9s and 10s overseas don't have their heads up their behind.
Yo, this woman is a matchmaker, and even she's like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, so there are a decent number of profiles like this. Okay, 31, female, based in the US, event coordinator, average looking in my opinion, and wearing heavy makeup with false lashes in all of her photos, including the casual ones. Here are some excerpts of her profile. I would like someone who is physically my type, attractive, fit, full head of hair, 5'11" or above, at least an 8 or 9 out of 10. Looks matter to me. He must be educated and have a stable job well into 6 figures. Someone who is emotionally intelligent and a high value man who understands the worth of a woman in a relationship. I won't tolerate anyone who does not know how to treat someone like a lady. I have high standards and I'm not interested in anyone who is trying to lower my standards. Now, this person is rejected because I don't think that the person that she wants will want her back. I mean, I've already seen profiles like this, and she doesn't meet their requirements. But what's very interesting to me is this discourse about trying to lower my standards. I've actually seen that sentiment a bunch of times in my comment section, and I don't actually know what that means. I think it's a very weird thing to say. Like, what do you mean other people are trying to lower your standards? Nobody cares what your standards are, and nobody cares even more to try and lower them. This is a free market, so you can have all of the standards that you want, but people also have to choose you. Now, as a matchmaker, I can factually tell you that based on what you're looking for, those people who do meet your requirements, whether or not they would want you back or not. So at some point, especially for someone in my position, it's simply about reality. And what I would say to this person is, hold on to your standards, hold on to them tight, and find yourself someone.
This woman is a dating coach, and she even rejects people based on standards like this. She goes to the profile, looks at the face, and then looks at the request, and this woman's standards are through the roof. You know what I'm saying? High value, obviously 5'11" over 6 feet into 6 figures. Yeah, she got a ton of makeup on, fake lashes, and then she sounds insufferable. I won't tolerate someone that won't know how to treat someone like a lady. And even the matchmaker's like, yeah, I'm gonna reject this person because the person they want, I don't think is gonna want them back. And that's just more work for me. These women be forgetting you can have all the standards in the world. She even told you that's fine. Hold on to those standards, but be realistic with you being okay with not being chose, because no one's gonna meet those standards. You want standards that you don't even uphold to. And the fact that she gets rejected from a matchmaker who she has to pay is telling. These women be thinking any guy's just gonna want them, and yeah, any guy will want to smash you. You be forgetting the guy that you want, once someone meets all the criteria, he gotta like you back, and that's where you're not gonna get chosen, because the guy that you want, that dude that meets all that criteria, has his pick of the litter from a lot of women that are way better to deal with than your insufferable ass. So if you're hearing it from a professional matchmaker, there might not be hope for you, shorty.
Feminism as a dismantling of patriarchy is not possible because you're appealing to the very thing you're trying to dismantle, always to dismantle it.
But it's also interesting because when I think about political movements throughout history in this country that have been super effective, they've done so through social organization, protests, political pressure, cultural influence, things that have nothing to do with force. Because like those are appealing to the government, the people in power.
And what does the government use?
The government has access to force, but these movements have still been successful.
Because men have allowed them to be. But in places where men don't allow them to be, they're not. Can I give you the entirety of the Middle East and Asia? What happens to your little political movements there?
Well, I'm talking about what
happens
in this country.
To your little political movements in Afghanistan? Right. To your little political movements with the holding of the little sign saying, I don't want to wear this really hot burqa in the 100-degree sun, and they come out and cut their head off? How do they do over there? They don't do so good. How come? Mm-hmm. It's because men allow you to keep those signs up. Men allow you to protest. Men are the ones who give the allowance for you to do anything on planet Earth. And my proof is half of planet Earth where men said, no, f*** that. And you know what women can do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything about it.
Women want to carry themselves this way and still expect the 40-year relationship that their grandparents had. Women treat men like this and still expect that old school love they desire. The reason why most of our grandparents stayed together for decades is because roles existed. Men led, men provided direction and stability, and women nurtured the home and brought peace. They trusted the man's leadership of the home. There was polarity. Just like a magnet, there is negative and positive, while in this case, there is feminine and masculine. Nowadays, too many women do not know their roles, and then they wonder why they feel exhausted, stressed, and unsatisfied. You feel like the man in the relationship because you keep trying to lead, and two captains cannot steer one ship. Long-term attraction comes from polarity, where the feminine inspires the masculine and the masculine protects the feminine. It's having trust, it's being receptive, it's allowing men to lead without punishing him for it. If you want to keep a masculine man, you have to let him be one, and be the lady that you know you can be. Be nurturing, be receptive. Stop trying to compete with your partner, because when both people stay in their roles, as we can see, love lasts.
So Vogue put out an article that says that women are now, quote, embarrassed to have boyfriends.
Yeah.
According to the Fashion Bible, having a man in your life is seen as cringe and culturally loser-ish. They're writing it on the point of view that women are so independent now and they make their own money and they're such girl bosses. Their argument is all men add to our life is just chaos and confusion and heartache. I don't need a man because I have already everything for myself. That was the argument they're making. It's making men look completely useless, which in my opinion is completely wrong. It's very feminist forward, yeah. She claimed that being with a man is now almost a guilty thing to do. It's awful because, yeah, are there men out there? 100%. Are there women out there? 100%. The way that they're making men sound in this article is that they're completely incompetent and they add no value to a female's life. And that's what kind of ticked me off. Yes, there's bad men, but there's a ton of great men.
I think this generation of dating men, women is so different than how it was before.
I would not be happy as just somebody's wife and having their kids. Like, there's just so much inside of me. And I decided I'm going to pursue this career that has no guarantee.
Based in the African American community, where our marriage rates are like 30%, they said by 2030 is going to go down to the teens.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that knowing that, how do we reverse engineer it? What you said is so true. A lot of African American women are out earning the male counterparts, and they feel like I can do bad all by myself, or I don't need you at all. So now women are saying, I don't just need a man that's a provider, because at first men were the providers. Now they're saying, I want something that men are less likely to give, which is emotional intelligence. Yeah.
When I was young, I was sold the Cinderella story. Like, oh, you meet somebody, Prince Charming. So I did what we recommend girls do. I went to college. I went to Hampton University, got into a relationship. After college, we got engaged. And I remember, it's so funny. My mother, everybody was happy. My daddy said to me, he was like, you are not ready to be anybody's wife. My dad knew. He said, you are so ambitious that you're going to have to give up everything of who you really are to be this man's wife.
Her father, who probably outside of her mother, knows her best. A father will know beyond the Disney fairy tale that creeped into her head about what marriage is or what it's about. A father would know if she has the behavior, the characteristics, the integrity, the morality to be that person, a wife in reality. Again, not in Disney.
He's going to work every day. I have no financial issues. Like, he has a reliable career, probably still has that job with that company at a higher level now. I moved in with him, so it was no extra bills. All I had to do was just get married and pop out some babies. And I said, this is not my life. This is not what God birthed me to become. Bet on me. And for a long time, I remember I used to think like, I chose my career over love. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't choose my career over love. I chose who I am. So I'm going to say, this is like 20 years ago. And it's like, okay, 20 years later, you're still not married. You're still not a wife. Would you make that same like, bet, would you make the same decision?
And I was hoping coming.
Absolutely, I would. I would have made it a day earlier.
Is that a component of the falling marriage rate is because women are choosing themselves as opposed to choosing family. But the issue is, while choosing themselves, while they'll go on a path to increase the amount of money within their bank accounts, they're also losing some of the fundamental factors that men of substance, of value, find attractive. The feminists and their programs funded by the government have won because they've taken the psyche of young ladies like this, fed them lies in order to increase GDP, gross product. Is this truly your nature, Kendra G, or were you nurtured into this?
I don't want to say this but I am. There's not really any like men these days. Like, you know what, like masculine men. When I'm talking about masculine, I don't mean like bulk dudes, like, like dumb right now. I'm talking about like masculine men. Like, where are those guys?
What
you know,
are
like
those?
someone like my brother and my dad. They're
What makes a masculine?
Yeah, what do you want in a masculine man? Like change a tire type?
It has nothing to do with looks. It's just a guy who can just like support you and like no jealousy. Just like, you know, it's not easy dating me, you know, because, you know, like I said, I'm kind of like an alpha, you know, so I got to meet someone who's more alpha than me.
So you want more alpha, you don't want a beta.
No,
because a lot of
absolutely
alpha homegirls that I have a little bit more of a beta boyfriend situation.
Because I have dated someone that was very, very a yes man, and it was very sweet, but then it gets boring.
You just don't know what they want. She couldn't even answer the question. He says, what is a masculine? What do you consider a masculine man to be? And she couldn't even tell you. Somebody who supports you and is not jealous is a masculine man? That's your answer? Somebody who's more alpha than you?
You know, modern women do a lot of, and, you know, the matchmaker was talking about it. They do a lot of, essentially what they mean is, well, I'm not going to allow somebody to tell me what I can and can't have. Like I said in a lot of my other commentary, I've worked hard for this. And when they say I worked hard for this, what they mean is I've gone to therapy. So I've completed that like you told me to. If you look at it from that way, it's essentially their version of Red Pill or the Manosphere. Well, you told me to go to therapy. I've gone to therapy. You told me to love myself. I love myself. To do self-care days. I've done all of that. I've sat with myself. I've taken boot camps on being feminine. I've gone up a level to divine feminine, advanced divine feminine, black cat energy, divine feminine, godlike, Zeus-like, Disney mermaid princess, like femininity. And, you know, I also have the degree. I have a master's degree. I have a PhD. Plus I have a great job making about 100K. I'm a boss babe, I would say. On the side, I do my own business, I run my own business. So I deserve this type of man with all of the stuff that I do. All of those things are great, but a lot of times when you get down to it, your attitude, which is what we've seen in that specific instance with the matchmaker, is terrible. And you can see it through the text messages. So you can do all of that other stuff, talk about how great you are, but usually it comes down to your character, your behavior, and your bad attitude.
I've been ignoring this for a while, but I'm going to say it now. I'm all for feminism, fully. But somewhere along the way, a lot of you all forgot it was not about pulling men down to feel powerful. It was about standing beside them. Not above, not below, beside. And I say this with love. But the moment I use a male example to explain shame or emotional stuff in my videos, the rage in the comments, it's wild. Suddenly I'm defending men. Suddenly it's patriarchy this, patriarchy that. Babe, no, that's not feminism. That's revenge. That's bitterness. If anger and blame are driving you, that's not healing. That's projection. And don't get me wrong, I know the system's been hell on women. I get it. But hating men, that's not the solution. In fact, I'm just going to go by my own experience as a coach. I get more male clients than female. These are men doing the inner work, unlearning shame, taking accountability. So if you think men are not trying, you're just not looking at the right places. I just don't understand the double standards. You get to throw tantrums and call it hormones, or this is just how girls are. But when he shuts down, suddenly he's a red flag. Like, babe, he's socially conditioned to suppress. He's unlearning decades of emotional shutdown. See, I'm not here to excuse bad behavior. No, not at all. But I'm here to say healing doesn't happen through blame. It happens through accountability, space, connection. You want better relationships? Stop playing team woman versus team men. Start making it you versus your pattern. Because we have got flaws too. We have got ego too. And healing starts when we stop pointing fingers and start holding mirrors. Not everyone's ready for that. But if you are, let's go.
My question is this. If y'all feel like men don't do, like they exist for no reason, let me know what the women are for. Because whether y'all want to believe it or not, women's purpose on earth is to procreate. Not saying that's our main purpose on earth.
But it is.
But without man and woman, we could not procreate. Because we all know that women always complain about some labor, whether it's hard labor, domestic labor, or anything. So you ladies ain't finna invent, build, or create. But a problem. They want to talk about the world would be a better place if men didn't exist. Bitch, speak for yourself. If it wasn't for women being with men, we all would not be here. So I'm just trying to figure out, do y'all want to eradicate us, including yourself? Because that's what it's giving. Don't be trying to unalive everybody along with your ass.
Okay, let's talk. A lot of women want a masculine man, but then you all show up in the relationship acting like his competition, not his counterpart. You say you want a leadership, presence, effort, protection, but your energy blocks every single thing you say you want. So let me break this down real quick, because if you can't embody these 5 traits, you're not calling in masculine energy, you're repelling it. Number 1, receptivity. Girl, let him show up. Some of you want a man to lead, but you argue with him every time he tries. You want him to plan, but you reject every suggestion. A man doesn't rise where he's micromanaged. He rises where he's received. Second, emotional softness. Listen, hyper-independence looks glamorous on Instagram, but in real life, men don't fall for hardness. They fall for warmth. Softness isn't about crying in the corner. It's the vibe, the way you talk to him, the way you look at him, the way you open up without making him feel like he's walking into a fire zone. Softness doesn't make you weak. It makes you magnetic. Third, appreciation. Here's a secret men don't tell you. They notice everything you appreciate and everything you don't. You don't have to throw a parade. Just acknowledge the effort. Men are simple. What gets appreciated gets repeated. What gets criticized gets deleted. If you want consistency, you better recognize effort, because no man keeps pouring into a woman who acts like it's bare minimum. Number 4, emotional accountability. And this one separates grown women from emotional toddlers. Your triggers, your wounds, your past hurt, that's your homework. A man cannot fix pain he didn't cause. And when you throw emotional chaos at him every time you're overwhelmed, you're being irresponsible. Accountability sounds like, I'm upset, but I know this isn't all on you. This is my trigger, not your disrespect. Men don't run away from emotions. They run away from blame. Number 5, respect. The one thing that turns a man from I'm here for a good time to I'm here for the long term. Respect doesn't mean yes, sir. Respect his tone. Respect is not talking to him sideways. Respect is not emasculating him because you're annoyed. Respect is not comparing him to other men, like a TikTok trend. By the way, stop doing that. If you can't speak to him with respect when you're mad, he'll never trust you with his heart when he's soft. Respect is the entry point to his masculinity. Not beauty, not vibes, respect. Feminine energy isn't about dresses, makeup, or being girly. It's about your emotional posture. Your softness invites his strength. Your receptivity invites his leadership. Your appreciation invites his consistency. Your accountability invites his vulnerability. Your respect invites his commitment. And if you're not getting masculinity from him, check the energy you're giving.
Grown women don't make you chase them. That's how you know you're dealing with a kid. Like if you're having to chase a woman or you having to like jump through a lot of hoops just to get her attention or whatever, like you're dealing with a kid. Grown women do not make you chase them because grown women are not entertaining men that they are not interested in. There's a lot of women out here that are going on dates with men that they know he has no chance. Or, you know, using men as emotional punching bags and using him to help her navigate relationships with other people and things of that nature, knowing that he like her for real. But she has no plans of entertaining him in that way. A grown woman not moving like that. If a grown woman not interested in you, there will be no communication at that level. There will be no dates. There will be no intimate conversations. Because she's spending that time dealing with a man that she's actually interested in. She ain't into playing games. You understand what I'm saying? So
If you got to chase that woman, bro, that is the wrong woman. Because a grown woman is not making you chase her. Because if you not even in a race for real, if you ain't what she interested in, and she gonna make that be known.
Never experienced the feeling of losing a good man. I've never sat here and be like, fuck, I lost a good one. Never! Because I'm the good man.
I done told y'all this. In their minds, they're incapable of being wrong. I could bet my life confidently that her and all the women in the comments and in the likes who agree with this take have had a good man, either want them or have been with a good man, but they've left that good man and said, we just didn't work out. There was something missing. He didn't have enough, something code word for toxicity, yada, yada, yada. I can confidently bet my life on that. Like, I know that however old this woman is, in her life, she's come across a man who had nothing but pure intentions, and she didn't like him for whatever reason. She might have straight up called bro a square. But in these women's minds, they're incapable of being, it's not even that they like won't take accountability, like literally something's wired in their mind. They're incapable of realizing when they're wrong. You ever prove a woman wrong, what's the first thing she gonna hit you with? Men, let me know, what she gonna call you? Yeah, she either called you, she called you sassy, she called you toxic, she called you manipulative, she called you a liar, she called you a gaslighter, she called you one of them things. If you've ever proved a woman wrong, something's wrong with you. It's not that what she did was wrong. It's not that what she did was wrong. It's not that she could have possibly misstepped. It's not possible that she was maybe disrespectful to you. No! Something's wrong with you because she can't be wrong. This whole time, I thought it was like an accountability issue, but it's literally in their reality. Like there is some type of genjutsu. They can't perceive themselves to be an issue. Like, I don't think there's a man out there in all his dating life in between the ages of 18 that could ever say that they've dated multiple women before and could say, I was never the problem one time. Like, I don't think there's like every man at some point be like, yeah, I was the problem here. I did this here. They can point out when they've been wrong and when they've been wronged. Women can only point out when they're wrong. I mean, when someone else has done them wrong. Men, how many times have you heard a woman ever say, yeah, I was the problem? And not in like a tongue-in-cheek type of way where she's like, man, haha, I'm so toxic. No, when has a woman ever sat down like, man, I really messed up with that dude? Yeah, exactly.
All women say they want a good man until they actually meet one and realize they're not equipped to handle him. A good man is not convenient. He doesn't bend to accommodate chaos. He doesn't rearrange his values because you're emotional. A real good man has discipline, boundaries, and priorities that don't shift based on your mood. And this is where women get confused. When you've never met emotional maturity, you misread everything. You call him cold because he won't tolerate drama. You call him selfish because he protects his peace. You label him detached because he refuses to beg for your approval. But that's not coldness. That is self-respect. A man who knows his worth doesn't move from insecurity. He moves from conviction. Good men don't chase drama. They don't chase chaos. And they sure as don't chase women who weaponize emotion. They build, they lead, they create order. Most women aren't ready for the responsibility that comes with a stable man because stability doesn't feed your need for emotional roller coasters. It doesn't scratch that itch for unpredictable validation. For women raised in dysfunction, peace feels boring until you lose it. A good man requires partnership, respect, and a woman who's emotionally regulated, not reactive, not reckless. Stay solid. Good men don't bend. They build. And the right woman rises to meet him.
And there was a woman that was confused about, speaking up for men. And then the women jumping on her case and saying, what are you doing that for? Essentially, are you a feminist? You're upholding the patriarchy. Why are you doing that? Well, that happens to a lot of women that decide, and they're not really even speaking up for men. What they're actually doing is just saying, hey, we said we wanted equality. Why are we trying to be more? Why are we trying to act like we're inferior? Why are we trying to make it seem like men are worse than we are? Like we're just so much better than men. That doesn't seem like equality. It seems like you think that you're more superior than a man is. And this is the exact point that a lot of men are making. You say that you want equality, but with your attitude and the way that you're acting, you really think that you're better than me. And some women, they're more blatant about it and they're more direct and upfront about it. But a lot of these modern women who claim to want equality, what they're essentially trying to do is subtly get revenge. And the man is like, revenge on what? I didn't do anything. I'm trying to help you out. Yeah, but you're still a man, so, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.